After months jailed in Madrid, 6 pro-independence leaders will sleep in a Catalan prison tomorrow, and some are already halfway. Hello and welcome to Catalan News. Two former Catalan ministers and 2 activists will spend the night in a penitentiary in Zaragoza. In some hours, their transferral to a prison in Catalonia will be completed, as will soon be the case for all the other politicians jailed in the Madrid region. They'll be able to await for their trial behind bars closer to their homes, which will facilitate visits from their relatives. With only a few days left before their first official meeting, Catalan and Spanish governments are trying not to mix the transferal of the leaders with their political priorities. Also today, we'll follow the Mayor of Barcelona on her trip to London, and we'll bring you the opening show of one of the greatest culture festivals of the Catalan capital. There are 9 Catalan leaders jailed in Madrid for organising a referendum and declaring independence last October. For months, their families have had to travel hundreds of kilometres to visit them. Very soon, this will no longer be the case. 6 of them will be moved to Catalan prisons tomorrow, and Spanish courts have already authorised the transferal of the 3 leaders left.
Tonight, some jailed pro-independence leaders will sleep closer to home. 2 former ministers and 2 activists arrived today in a penitentiary in Zaragoza, a halfway stop while they are transferred from Madrid to prisons in Catalonia. The trip will be completed tomorrow, when they're expected to spend the night in Catalonia for the first time in months. Also tomorrow, another former minister and the previous parliament speaker will be moved from Madrid to a jail in Figueras. The Spanish judge handling the case against the independence leaders today green-lighted the transfer of the 3 ministers left in Madrid prisons. As the investigation comes to an end, and while preparing for trial, the politicians requested they be allowed to stay closer to their families, and the Spanish government approved it.
Estem davant d'un compliment de la llei, s'està fent d'una manera normal i estic segura que la Generalitat, que es farà càrrec d'aquesta nova situació, farà el mateix.
But for the leader of the main unionist party in Catalonia, this was not as much an administrative decision as a political one. She says the transfer is a result of a secret pact between Spain's ruling socialist and the pro-independence parties in exchange for voting to oust President Mariano Rajoy only some weeks ago.
La política penitenciària d'aquest país no pot ser mai objecte de negociació política per arribar a Moncloa, que és exactament el que ha fet el senyor Sánchez.
The Catalan government, though, is clear.
Nosaltres hem exigit el seu alliberament. Ara se'ls trasllada, millor a prop que lluny, però on han d'estar és alliberats. És una decisió unilateral del govern espanyol. No té res a veure amb nosaltres, no és una contrapartida de l'ordre del dia i no és una contrapartida.
With the first meeting between the Catalan and Spanish governments due to take place next week, the pro-independence parties have made a point of not mixing the situation of their jailed leaders with their political goals, namely a referendum on independence. Yet that is something the Spanish government has already ruled out, so it remains to be seen how the leaders might frame the meeting so as to present it as a political success.
The encounter with his Spanish counterpart will come after weeks in which the Catalan President Quim Torra has met several political leaders. One of the most prominent ones, the Mayor of Barcelona, Ada Colau. Today she was confirmed as a leader of Catalunya en Comú, a left-wing party standing between the unionist and pro-independence blocs. The results of the vote were announced while Colau was on a trip to London, where she visited her counterpart in the United Kingdom's capital, Sadiq Khan. The 2 mayors discussed one of the main challenges shared by the 2 cities, speculation in the housing sector. They criticised speculators for seeing houses as an asset from which to profit rather than homes for the people who live there. In order to help solve the situation, Colau and Khan demand more resources and powers for cities.
We share a lot of things, and this struggle for affordable housing, that it's the most important thing in Barcelona now. And we have to work together. Cities must unite and reclaim 2 states. We need more power, we need more resources.
Barcelona is expected to receive 60 people saved in the Mediterranean by the Catalan NGO Proactiva Open Arms tomorrow. 50 of them, all male migrants, will be given accommodation in the Joaquim Blume hostel near Barcelona. The centre usually hosts visiting sports people, and the Catalan government has stressed that this is only a temporary place while they find a permanent centre. Along with women and unaccompanied minors, they will receive a 45-day permit to remain in the country while their legal situation is clarified.
Sí que és un esforç important que estem assumint en molt poc temps i per això ens sembla molt important que puguin sortir altres municipis, altres localitats del país per també afrontar aquest esforç.
After years of skyrocketing unemployment, jobless figures in Catalonia are slowly returning to levels prior to the financial crisis. In June, the number of unemployed people registered with the Catalan Employment Service fell by more than 15,000 people from the previous month. The new figures reflect the largest drop in unemployment since 2008. All sectors of the Catalan economy noted the decrease. The new figures are affected by the start of the summer, when unemployment traditionally falls due to seasonal work in the tourism industry. Let's move on to culture now, because one of Barcelona's main festivals for the visual arts, the Grec, has kicked off, and it did so with a theatrical piece focusing on the oldest known piece of literature that has survived to this day.
Giants battling for hours who become the best of friends. Women seducing wild men who grew up among animals. And a heroic warrior in pursuit of immortality. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the king of Uruk, is the most ancient literary work that has survived to modern times. It dates back more than 4,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia, and it has come to the stage in Barcelona, opening this year's Grec Festival 2018 at the Teatre Grec in Montjuïc. Theatre-goers enjoyed a warm midsummer night outside, and a story transporting them through time way back to the cradle of civilization to around 2700 before Christ.
La primera història escrita de la humanitat, trobada entre la sorra del desert, entre el Tigris i l'Eufrates a l'antiga Mesopotàmia.
But the Sumerian epic, despite its age, has themes that are familiar to this day. Gilgamesh, after all, contains notorious Western mythology such as the Great Flood, but it doesn't end there.
Comença a ressonar moltes coses cap a Orient i moltes coses cap a Occident. Hi ha coses que van cap a la Bíblia, altres coses que van cap a l'hinduisme.
In keeping with the theme of East and West, two theatre companies from Barcelona and Hong Kong have come together in Our Death Won't Hurt Anybody, Part 1. Working with diverse stage languages, they tackled the theme of war, referencing the classic by Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu. Bodas de Sangre, or Blood Wedding in English, by Federico García Lorca, also takes on some of the bigger issues, such as life, death and love, performed with a poetical musical rhythm. Another highlight on the bill of this year's Grec Festival is Jerome Bell's Gala, a tour de force bringing together 20 dancers representing people living in Barcelona. But this is just a taste. With 83 shows on the program, people won't be short of options at this year's Grec.
Bruce Springsteen might be one of the world's most acclaimed rock and roll stars, but in Catalonia the love for the boss often goes a step further. In its second edition, the No Surrender Festival has done again what seemed impossible, bringing together more than 1,000 musicians from around the world to the eastern village of Vilanova de Bellpuig to play and sing along to one of Springsteen's greatest hits. This year the song chosen was Badlands. Enjoy the music and see you tomorrow.